Hello, hello. We're
Hello.
back for episode 2.
Oh, two. Oh.
And I think yeah, Grace and I have decided that there's no planning necessary for these talks and really to just let it flow out of us. So I'm excited to do that today with you, Gracie.
Y'all are getting the full channel. Getting, you're just getting full vibes.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I mean, Grace, what's here?
What is here? I actually want to talk about um our energy fields right now and what we're all as a group going through right now in this timeline. Um, there's some major uh like the divine is calling you to wrap things up
Mhm.
in your life. You're being called to wrap that thing up that's been, uh not letting you fully go to your full potential. So
Yeah.
we're all being called to wrap it up. You know, we ain't got time for that bull. We ain't got time for that yes.
Yeah, and like I always from like the astrology lens, I just love to bring it in because I know you get this information just based off of like like you're not looking at the astrology. I'm looking at the astrology a little bit. And on March 25th, we had an eclipse in Libra and it's the first of two eclipses. So the second one is April 8th. And this was a full moon eclipse, and it was conjunct the south node, meaning it lining up directly with the south node of the moon, and that's all about releasing karmic ties, patterns, patterns within you, like in relationship to others, in relationship to yourself, thought patterns that are not serving your soul's evolution. And it's like eclipse is like let it go, and also like a lot of light to those patterns. And I think like this phase between the full moon and the new moon is uncomfortable because we're seeing very clearly what is there that is not serving
Yeah.
our growth. And I think we have to see it, right, before we can really let it go. We have to see it. Otherwise, like, how do you let something go if you're not aware of it?
Yep. Yep. So the line of events is it's being brought to your attention and then you are going into full self-reflection mode whether you want to or not. I think that's like that's kind of evident here. Like everyone's it doesn't matter on which like what level of wrapping up that you're doing. No one can stay in the same place anymore.
Hmm.
Like as like beings like of this earth, like the earth is making a decision for us.
Hmm.
And we're like you either get on the train or you don't. I mean
Yeah, and I think, but
here.
our souls said yes to this life. Like our souls said yes to being here at this time of like the most intense solar flaring like ever to happen. I'm not sure that that's exactly an accurate statement, but like the amount
Oh,
of light
I think it
that's
is.
raining down on our planet,
Yeah.
it's like you get to choose, are you gonna take it and receive it, or you're going to just like block it all?
Right. Yes. And I think for a lot of people, and this is just coming from what I have observed from different individuals, is some people are just so attached to their suffering.
Yeah.
They are just comfortable suffering.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I'm like guilty over here.
guilty.
Guilty. But it is like it's a neurological thing, like it's a patterning in our brain that we keep running the same program because it's what we know. And so,
Right.
it's not like something to beat yourself up over it, but again, it's like, can you be aware of the fact that you are addicted to your own suffering?
Oh, yes. And like I want to add to that. In our last video, we talked about downloads in computer systems.
Mhm.
And don't, if you aren't running from that new upgrade or that new download that you accepted, you're still going off of your old systems and your old ways because that's how you were programmed.
Mhm.
But we are like literally being given the chance to accept these new downloads. And at whatever level you choose to accept them, or maybe you don't, there's still like everyone's doing some level of growth. Whether you are doing a 180,
Mhm.
are you just like, just
Pivoting.
well, yeah, we're all like we're seeing this on social media right now. There's a lot of shit coming to light.
Yeah.
A lot. And there's more. Whatever is going on with, social media and that being brought to light. There's so much more that they're not like showing you. And
Mhm.
that just goes to say how deep it is because they're just scratching the surface of the iceberg.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scratching the surface. Um, and I think like the best way to go about the uncomfortableness that we all feel right now, like it is uncomfortable. Like I say right now, I have been feeling uncomfortable, but like, listen, my soul loves a challenge. So
Yeah.
personally, I'm like, oh, fuck yes, bring it on. But also, like, I have strongly been feeling uncomfortable as well because, the two exist within me.
Mhm.
But I think the best way to go about this uncomfortableness is like surrender.
Yeah.
Surrender. Um, because whatever change is being brought in your life, maybe like some people are exiting out of your life right now. You're detaching from your old patterns, you're creating a new mindset, you're healing like past versions of yourself that
Mhm.
have been uh, in charge of the remote. Like they're no longer um they're no longer in charge anymore. You are the one who is taking charge. And the best, I think, advice that we can give is when you surrender, it becomes easier. Like
Yeah.
you might think, oh, if I surrender, if I just like let go, it's all going to go to chaos. You
Mhm.
would think. And for some, it might be chaos, but I don't think that we truly understand just how much the universe is working for us. Like everything is in our favor.
Yeah, and I want to ask, like, when you say surrender, could you say like all of those parts of you that have been holding the remote per se are the parts that need to surrender so that
Oh,
the true
yes.
you can like step up and take control, I don't really like the word control, but like
Right.
but take
Oh,
the
it
remote.
is in some right. It is in some way. Because there's definitely like I feel like some people have this mindset of life is just happening to them. Is they
Mhm.
have, they have no control over anything. Um, and I also don't like the word control. I want to find a different word. It's more like I think intention is the
Yeah.
best word.
Yeah, and like the like will the will.
The will. Yes, there it is. Okay. The will that you have to um have those parts of yourself that have been running the show like just fully surrender and let go. That surrendering is going to take care of all the things that you're worrying about,
Yeah.
right? Like you think, oh, like if I just like surrender and I give into um this change that is happening, there is a part in where you don't have control over what's going to happen when you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that part that part is why some are hesitant
Yeah.
to do the surrendering is the loss of control.
Yeah. And like a lack of safety is what is coming up, or like, if you lived a life where you maybe didn't feel so safe in the past, in your childhood home, or like whatever it was for you in past relationships, like you do have to establish some baseline safety principles in your life. And they might not be what you think. Like what makes you feel stable? Like what do you need? Good food, water. This is from Katona Yoga. It's like the root chakra. Money, food, sex, water.
Money, food, sex, and water. Yeah.
Like if you have those four, like, and I'm not saying go out and have a bunch of sex, but like
Right. Well, sex meaning like love,
love, yeah, yes. And yeah, you have to like get really clear about what it is that makes you feel safe in your life in order to surrender. Because if you're just surrendering into a lack of foundation or lack of safety, then
Yeah.
it doesn't set you up well to let go.
Right. And maybe we can like give some examples in our life of what makes us feel safe and secure enough to surrender. Like, for example, for me, that's a consistent schedule. That's like waking up consistently, like around the same time, doing the same morning rituals. Like, that to me gives me like a feeling of safety.
Yeah.
I also think my female friendships,
Hmm.
it is oh so important right now to have divine support.
Yes.
And I say the word not just like support because someone can, materialistically support you, but not really like get you to the level of which you need. And
Yeah.
that that support, that divine support, it almost like it's propelling you forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like even like so before Grace and I got on this recording, I was kind of having like an off morning and I like really in my head could not get out of my head. And Gracie just dropped me into a meditation. And in 5 minutes, it was just like I am here, cleared. And I just found myself thinking like, oh, we're not meant to do this alone. Like these friendships, these connections are so important. Like I needed Grace this morning to help drop me in. Like it wasn't gonna, I just went for like an hour walk outside. Like I've been trying like all morning, like consciously trying to like shift. And like I needed Grace this morning. And so connection is so important. You have to find people in your life.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think there's this misconcept that like you don't need anybody. I think that's like you us humans were built for connection. And if we don't have that foundation of feeling truly supported, um you're going to feel wobbly and just like you're like you're not really going to know where you are in life. Like things are going to be just like kind of like turmoil for you because it's like Morgan was just saying, like she was feeling like extremely off this morning, all in her head. Um, and this morning, like I felt pretty, stable and good, but sometimes it's the other way around. It's
Mhm.
like when I'm feeling extremely off, Morgan's there to be like, "You're here."
Yeah.
Boom. And boom it goes. Uh
Yeah.
like your friends are there to stabilize you when you don't feel that you are.
Mhm. Yeah.
And to remind you, like we need reminders that it's okay, that we're good, and that we are safe.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, for me, safety, like examples of safety in my life are definitely friends who see me and humans that see me. Like it's like eye contact, honestly. It's a huge thing for me when I'm around somebody that can look me in the eye and like just look me in the eye. That immediately creates this like feeling of safety in the body. Hugs.
Oh,
Hugs, like give me a good hug, open up and give me a hug. Not like 1 second hug, like a good like 5+ seconds breathing hug.
a
Every
bear hug.
prayer hug, everything drops away. It's just like this is it.
Oh God.
Mhm. Yeah, and I on like the same like talking about friendship and community and having people that you can connect with. Like I just went on a 2 week road trip. And I swear, every time I like eavesdropped on somebody's conversation, they were talking about communes. And I like, no joke, no joke. And I just think there's this huge shift happening right now. And I feel it of like really wanting to live in conscious communities, of wanting to live together and share responsibilities. Like, I don't know about anybody who's listening to this, but like, if you try to like do the laundry, clean your house, work, feed your kids, play with your kids, raise your kids, clean yourself, like, what are the other responsibilities? It just keeps going. Grow your food, like to
Yeah.
do all of those things alone in single family households is like a mechanism of capitalism that is trying to keep us stuck and separate and like not powerless.
Whew, you just dropped a bomb. Um, Absolutely. I think part of the reason why many marital relationships don't work out is because these two individuals, well, we know one gender sometimes doesn't like to contribute to, the work of the household, but uh, back to what I was saying, these two individuals are having to do this all on their own and it's straining them. They're having to keep up the household, take care of the kids. It's like they can't really focus on the relationship between themselves because they're just like they're in survival mode.
Yeah, and they can't focus on their relationship to themselves, which I think has to come even before you're focusing on a relationship with another. And there's no time for that when you are a mom, a full-time employee, a household holder, whatever we call it. Like,
No, no. And especially the way that we have been taught to go about an income. It's is you go out and you work a 9 to 5 and then you come back to the house where the house is messy and it affects your mindset and you're disconnected from yourself and your marriage is struggling. It's like all these things they're being brought to light right now. And what Morgan was saying about the communal uh what was it? Like
living.
yes, thank you. Communal living is these support systems are going to give you that safety, that safe feeling that we were talking about. Like uh
Yeah.
it's like you're not just it's not an individualistic society anymore.
Yeah.
Like we have been taught to think it is. It is not. And it when
Mhm.
you come to the realization that uh all these individual things that you look out for, and I'm not saying like not to like, if you want to go up on the corporate level and just, like succeed at your best, you do that. But what we're trying to say is are like your foundational needs like love, support, feeling safe
Mhm.
is going to come from that community that you build
Yeah.
and communal living. Like, I mean, not to say that it's not going to be hard, but it's a different kind of hard.
Mhm.
Like it's the hard where yes, like some you're gonna have to talk about like boundaries and like what works for you, what works for me, like compromise.
Right. Yeah. I'm so excited to just see this like wave kind of play out as it's like I think it's rising up in our consciousness, like how many of us want to live in a community. And I'm really excited to see like over the next couple of years where that goes. I'm here
Yes,
for it.
yes, me too.
Mm. Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
I
I,
think that was a pretty good channeling of the information.
yeah, we just like that was our we I think we shared what we wanted to share.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yay. Okay. Thank you, Gracie, and we'll be back for episode 3 soon.
Yay!